What is up, guys? And in this video we're making some homemade rock sliders for the CJ. So the first thing we're gonna do is measure out a pipe here and then cut the two like 45-degree angles in it. Alright, so here are the notches cut in it. It looks pretty good up against here. We kind of went right off the wheel wells. So yeah. Alright, sorry about the noise, but my neighbors are getting a roof installed next door, so it's getting kind of loud. But the next thing I want to make is the place where it mounts to the frame. So I got my bolts here. So what I'm gonna do is have something like this, and then just have a hole here and a hole here. I don't think we need more than 2, and honestly, I don't want to drill 4. I don't want to drill 32 holes. Actually, it'd only be 16, but still. So yeah, so what I'm going to do now is kind of mock this up and figure out how big each piece of this has to be. And then this bolt's just going to go through both sides of the frame. So, it should be really strong. So yeah, I'm going to mark out how big of sections we need and then cut them and drill them. We're going to need vertical bars that go from here, or horizontal, from here out to mount to that slanted piece. So what Jason's doing now, and he's measuring like 4 of those, 2 for each side, and he's going to do a 90-degree notch in one side, and then we'll cut the other side and weld it to these plates I'm making right now. So I just cut these. I did 4 3.5 ones, and now I'm just gonna grind down this part right here, and then what I'll do is I'll mark out a place for 2 holes to be drilled. Alright, so now I got these 2 holes marked out. It's just like this, right, and then you got the 2 places for the bolts to go. Should be able to turn, because I'd like to put a ratchet on the end of it, but so yeah, now I'm gonna drill those out, and then I'm gonna repeat that process 3 other times.
Okay, so we got the first one notched out. Fits pretty well, it's very level.
Yeah, and then we're just getting these holes finished drilled out. So once these are done, we'll be welding the pipe onto right here. So yeah. Jason's working on the next notch. We got that one right there, all done. And then I'm going to, I got these done. The bolt fits through every hole pretty well. So, sweet. I think the next thing I'm going to do is figure out where on the frame these are going to go, so I can drill the holes through the frame. That's going to take a while. I'll show you guys that. I don't know if you can see those. I got my 2 holes there, and then my 2 holes there. So, those will have the plate, and then the bar will come out like this, and then we'll have that metal crossbar like this. So now I'm just gonna drill these 2 holes. Jason's still notching that. So once I get all those holes drilled, the hard part's gonna be making that this bar here float in like the right spot. Alright, so it's not the straightest thing, but at least the holes are in, and at least this should hold very well. So the next thing I'll do is I'll drill those. And I'm actually really surprised about how, and like the bolt just goes all the way through the whole frame. It wasn't that hard to drill. I was expecting something out of hell, but that's the thing. If you're considering, like, nice drill bits make the world of difference, so great investment. Alright, so here both plates are. This one's pretty good. This one, that one's super, it doesn't look crooked on camera, but it's pretty crooked. Like, I don't know. But that top right one's kind of crooked, but yeah. So now the next thing we're gonna do is, so we got that, we're gonna weld that to there, and we're gonna have our notch here. But now we just gotta cut this to length so that this notch is like right here, directly underneath this. So we're gonna try to do that. I guess once we have it tacked up and kind of in position, it's really gonna be a game of cutting it once, grinding it down a little bit, test fitting. So just a bunch of that, so yeah. Alright, so now we have this tacked up, so got it looking something like this. Now we're just gonna have to figure out where to tack the other one. And then once we have that, we're going to trim this down so this is flush with this. So yeah, let's tack the other one on. Alright, so here it is packed up. So now we just need to figure out where to cut this so it's flush. This is just going to be a really pain in the ass part. Probably not going to record any of it because it's going to be us cutting a little bit, grinding, cutting a little bit at a time. Maybe we'll show a little bit, but... Alright, so we're going to start messing with that. Alright, so this is the desired length. So what we're going to do actually is, because right now, there's like, because I want the bar to be flush up against this, but right now it's here. So what we'll do is we'll just use washers to shim this angle up like this. That way we don't have to worry about like 2 dimensions of angles. So the next thing we're going to do is tack this to our bar. There it is under its own weight. It's pretty level. And we just put some tacks in there. They're pretty gross because I was welding upside down. But so now what we're going to do is yank off this entire piece and weld her up.
Good look.
It's okay, not the best, but it's melted together, so that's okay. Alright, so it's all welded up. You know, this is actually the first time I've ever used this welder, and I don't know, it's way better than the Harbor Freight one we used before, and it's freaking solid. So the only possibly structural design we could have are the 2 bolts here, but so yeah, the next time you see it, we're gonna be bolting it up. Alright guys, it's a new day and we have a slight change of plans here. I tried the washer thing and it worked, but honestly, if we're gonna go through all the work of this and powder coat it and stuff like that, I want it to be legit, and I want this whole Jeep to be legit. So what I'm gonna do is instead of shimming it, first of all, I'm gonna weld up these holes in the frame that I made, that I just kept boring out to try to make it work. And I'm gonna restart with that, and then I'm gonna do a pie cut to bring this up. So yeah, so basically we're starting over and we're doing this legit because I don't want this to be half-assed. So yeah, so the first thing I'm gonna do is weld these up. Probably not gonna record it, it's kinda easy, I'm just gonna weld the gap. Alright, so the frame is all the holes are welded up. Same with the other side was such a pain in the ass. So yeah, okay, the next thing we're gonna do is we're either gonna drill the holes here, like perfectly centered, and then do the pie cuts, or we're gonna do the pie cuts first and then put this on the frame wherever it has to be. I think we'll do the pie cuts first and then mount that on the frame where it has to go. Alright, so I don't know if you can see that marker there? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out, where's the mark? I'm going to cut out like a slot here, and then what I'll try to do is I'll try to bend it, so that way I want to leave as much on there as possible, but still be able to bend it. So you'll see what I'm saying once I cut it, but now I'm going to cut that. So as you can see, I left a little piece there, that way I can bend it up like that, and then we can just cut a pie cut, or, I don't know, because I'm sure I can weld the gap and it'd be okay, because like this is just a step, so I don't know, I'll have to think about that, but I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so now, this is how it needs to be. This is actually going to work really well. Like, I'm glad, like, between rushing and taking my time and doing it right, definitely the best way to do it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the little pie cut that slides into there so I can weld her up. Same with the other side. So what I'll probably do is I'll measure the gap between here and here and just, I don't know. It'll probably be something that's smaller than this gap, but I'll just weld the gap a little bit, which I'm fine with. My main concern is if it mounts up in the right spot. And then after that, we'll drill the holes. Because what I learned from this is when you weld, stuff moves, stuff changes. So always drill the holes in the frame last. Because then you're not limited to where those holes are. Alright, so here's the pie cut in there. Fits really well, except for right here, there's a bit of gap, but I can weld that, no problem. But it fits freaking really nice over here. So yeah, now I'm gonna weld this up. Alright, this one's done. These welds are freaking gross. I think it was because like the metal wasn't clean enough or something. But yeah, that's disgusting. I might grind those down. Maybe not. I'll just leave them. It'll be under the car. Yeah, those are. Look at that. That's so gross. I'm glad I'm learning on underneath the car. That way, when I do like the roll cage welding, it doesn't look like crap. So now I'm gonna do the next pie cut and weld it in. Probably won't film it because it's exactly the same as the other one. All right, so here it is, all done. So the next thing we're gonna do is mock it up on the Jeep. And I think my problem with the spattering was the wire speed was too fast. So I fixed that and it was better on this one. Alright, so I got the holes drilled. So moment of truth, let's see if this fits for about the 5th time. Alright guys, here it is. This is such hell, but it's on there and it looks really good. Like the gap, it's consistent throughout. Like really good. And it's bolted in. And it's super sturdy. So yeah, that's all she wrote, I guess. Well, now we're only halfway done. Now we got to do the other side. Oh my gosh. And then after that, we'll do these like bars that come off like that. I don't even know if we're gonna do that. I would like a step though. Dang, that just looks so good. I'd hate to mess with it. Wow. Like look, the wheel well. Right at the end of the wheel well, that starts. I haven't checked the placement of the front one, but it should be good. Alright, so honestly, now the next step of this is going to be doing this entire process on the other side. I'm obviously going to film much less of that because you don't want to watch the same thing twice, but I will kind of show the major accomplishments and stuff just kind of really quickly going through each one. But yeah, now copy paste on the other side. It's easy making it once, making it look the same on the other side, especially replicating this exact gap. That's gonna be very difficult. Let's just try. Alright, so I just cut this other piece to like the same exact length. So I think the next thing we're gonna do is we'll do the two 90-degree notches and then weld those to that pipe like we did on the other side. And oh god, that's so dark. Alright, so you can see that. So this is what I'm going to do instead. Instead of drilling the holes before, I'm just going to kind of get in the general position. And then the last thing I'm going to do is drill those holes. And that'll hopefully save us a lot of headache. So yeah, next thing we're going to do is do those two 90 notches and put them onto that. Alright, so here they are. So I guess the next thing we'll do is figure out where the placement is on these, just like last time, and then tack these into place. That was a bad start. Alright, so now we're just trimming this down. Got these tacked on. This front one's a 10-degree, and then this one is 90. Alright, so we just tacked this on the other side, just like the other side. So yeah. So now we'll mock these up and that'll be good. So it's all welded up, and we might, because the frame is like closer to the frame is taller on this side, we might not even have to do the pie cut. We might just be able to drill our holes a little bit higher. So I think that's what we're gonna do. So the next thing we're gonna do is mark out and drill the holes on this. Alright, so I don't know, it's a new weekend. We got this side. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to find the holes on our frame, drill those out, and then what we'll do is we'll do the same thing with cutting the notch in this so we can bend it in the shape. I think this will be the best way to do it. That way we can bend it to the exact space we want, and then we can tack weld it there. Alright, so I don't know the last time I left off on the video was, but we got that gap even, and we got some kind of ghetto with some welding the gap pie cuts in there, but it works. So yeah, now we're going to take that off, weld it. You've already seen it, so I'm not going to film it. Alright, so now what we're doing is we have these, because when we put the bolts through, what happened was the frame it was getting tighter and tighter, but like it was bringing the frame in. So if you have another plate on the other side of the frame to sandwich it in, it won't cause the frame to cave in. So that's what these are. We're just gonna drill some holes. So yeah, we got this all welded up, as you can see. So then we'll get these on, we'll get the mounts on the other side, and then we'll get it on the frame. Alright, so we got those to sandwich the frame, and we got these two for this side. So yeah, now we're gonna bolt it up. That'll probably be it for today. I'll show you one more shot of them on the Jeep, but I think that'll be it. Alright, so it's a new day, and we got both our rock sliders done. So now we're gonna use this 3/4 inch steel tubing to make a step. We don't really know what our design's gonna be. We have a lot of this stuff, so what we're gonna do is just do something, see what happens, and then see how it looks, and if we don't like it, we'll change it. Alright, we got our first bend. So now we're gonna make it about the same length as the door cutout. So yeah, and we'll do that. Alright, now we're just doing our ghetto count method. 50 pumps so we can match that angle. So yeah, hopefully this looks good. Alright, so the counting the number of pumps method actually worked. It looks like this in the camera. It looks like this one's longer, but we measured, and they're good. So let's cut it and get it. Alright, so this is like, we put it up to mock up, and it's way too big. I don't like it. So what we're gonna do, yeah, like look at that. That's kind of gross. So I think what we're gonna do is just do one little step like that, like nothing too crazy, kind of subtle. So yeah, I think what we'll do is just bend that one a little bit. Alright, so here it is, kind of a general mock-up. That looks way better. We're gonna obviously tuck it in more, but now we need to cut it to length to where we can fit our shoe in it. Alright, so now that we got this, what we have to do is we gotta like cut this like that for a notch, so it sits flush. So we're gonna do that. Alright, so now we got it generally the size, so what we're gonna do is kind of notch it. And then once it's notched, we'll clean up the paint on this and that, and then tack it. We got that bar ground down and cut to length, and we got a bar here ground down, so now we're gonna tack it up. Alright, so there she is, all welded up. It does well. I'll take a video of me getting in it just to show how much better it is. So now, we got Blake working on this right now, so we're just gonna duplicate that right on the other side here. Alright, so here's this side, all done. We made it the same measurement from here to there as the other side, so it looks good. So here, I'll show you getting into it. So, you step in. So yeah, it works pretty good. It flexes a little bit, but it's pretty good. And you put your foot in there pretty well, so pretty happy with that. So the final process of this is going to be filling that hole. We just have some it's sheet metal, kind of thick, well, thick for its application. So what we'll do is we're gonna weld like just a flat piece onto here, and then we'll cut around the outside. So yeah, we'll probably just show you it for one, because it's just, you don't want to watch us doing that 4 times. Alright, so we kind of just welded that plate onto there. So what we'll do is we'll kind of cut around the outline and then grind it down. Alright, so this looks freaking super clean. Super happy with that. We're gonna leave like a little bit of the weld on the bottom just so it has the structural integrity to hold it on there. But yeah, like that looks so good. So okay, we still gotta do 4 more times, but it's pretty late tonight, so next time you come back, we'll be finishing up those 3. Alright, so here it is. And I think that's it because we have this one on there and it looks really, really good. Like, super happy with the result. You see the holes filled right there. Footstep works nice. So yeah, I think that's gonna be all for this one. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe for some more stuff like this and some go-kart stuff and some weekly uploads. So next thing we're gonna be doing is probably a transfer case rebuild. We have the engine right behind me, so stay tuned for that.